YouTube. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And yes, I ain't feeling too awful good today. I haven't felt good for the last 3 days. So that's why I slowed down on the Logan. Still ain't feeling good, so I figured I'd come out here and try to do something. And I decided to go ahead and showcase the Logan, just in case I have to sell it. But I want to give it a fair shot. And the meaning I have on a fair shot is I want to put my quick change tool post on it, and I want to give it a good shot with trying it out, see how it cuts, see how it works. You know, if it's tight, if it's loose. You know, you got to know all that stuff. Whether you can live with what the lathe has a problem. Every lathe has a problem. You're never going to get one that is perfect, ever. So stop trying. There's always going to be that one thing that you're just not going to be able to live with. So that's what I need to figure out. I need to figure out which one I'm going to like the best. And I do like this Logan. It's looking pretty. So it's kind of hard to not lean towards that one, but I know the Grizzly inside and out. Yeah, it's got its limitations too. They both do. So, but anyway, we're just doing some things here to try to take some pictures of it, of all angles, like I did my Atlas. It is my star right now, so I need to take good pictures of her so that she will be nice to me. So I'll bring you around here and show you what I got going on. Well, I gotta find a spot for you for one thing. And I don't have no good light back here because I lost my 12 volt. So I need to move that light over here and put behind what we got underneath. As you can see, I got this 12 volt lighting. For some reason it just stopped. I had been having a problem with my radio every time, because it's on it runs off 12 volt. Every time I would flick one of these lights on, the radio would go out and then come right back on and everything would be normal. But it didn't do that every single time. Well, all of a sudden I tried to turn the light on the other day and the radio went out just like normal, but that time it didn't get back, it didn't come back. So I have no 12 volt in here. I do have 13 point so many volts on the fuse. So I don't know. I've got it coming from the box to the fuse panel. I've got all fuses have 12 volt on them. None of them are blowed, so I don't know. Anyway, what I'm doing here is just rambling on for one thing. I'm going to cut this out right here because I want to make this also a clean up or clean out. So if I bring this motor up to about right there where it's going to ride to begin with, I've got enough room that I can just take me a broom and broom all that stuff down, and I've got an extra chip pan around here somewhere that I can scrape all these shavings down in here into a chip tray that slides in from the front somehow. and that way I can clean this out, because what this is, it's just a little hollow, or holler. It's a little holler. And it goes, there's enough room, it's probably about an inch between the chip pan and that floor, and then it goes in about that far and drops off into the drawer. Well, that's not no good, so I've got to put a piece of metal here across this to stop any of these chips from going in underneath there. So we got to do that, but I wanted to cut a piece of this and put in first, so that when I put that piece in there, it would squeeze against it and hold tight. That way I don't have to cut it or screw it down or anything. I might screw it down, I don't know. But then we're going to get some of this, which is treadmill padding. You get it in different styles. We've got it in this style here that looks kind of like black marble. And then this has got the little checks, which is more tool industry. And then we've got textured. But what I was looking for was something that was a little stiff, something that would actually lay with its own power after setting for so long. See, these are so flimsy that this bubble will always be in there for a long time. It would take forever for it to flatten out, and may never flatten out. So you want the heaviest material, which is going to be this, which is that rubber with fiber underneath of it, and it's pretty strong fiber, and it's also got some weight to it, so it'll be heavy to hold itself down. Of course, it may not have to hold itself down because we may put trim around it, I don't know. But I want to take this and cut it back here to miss this 2x6 and to miss this 2x6, and then cut it out about, I don't know, 2 inches from here, 2 inches, and then straight across, and then here 2 inches and then straight across, and then that will go that far over top of this lip, so that when you scrape it all off there, it's going to go right into the chip pan. It ain't got a little hole here to go down into where it'll collect and you can't get a brush to it. So it makes sense, it makes perfect sense to make it so that it will slide down in there and slope down and help itself to empty. So first thing I want to do is mark that with a pencil. I wish I had more light here, but I don't. Now we've got that marked. And then we've got that marked. Now we know we want to go 2 inches, so we really don't need to do anything but bring it out of here. And measure 2 inches and make your mark. And I'm getting hung up on everything because you guys are in my way. And we'll mark that at 2 inches. We'll mark this at 2 inches. And then we'll mark this edge at 2 inches. Then we'll take us a straight edge and run all the way across all of it. But first we need to find something to lay underneath of it so it's straight. Since I don't want to pull this out, I'm just going to measure it right there. Alright, so now we'll mark that. And then we'll mark this. And I wish I hadn't have done that. Alright. now we can cut that. Alright. Now you always want to do this part before you cut the length, because if you cut the length and then try to do that, then you're going to come up 2 inches too short. So now let's pull our tool out of here. And then now we will remeasure. So now we've got to pull the motor up. That will go down just like that. So now we will come over here to this side. So I'll move this carriage out of my way and move the tailpiece. Then we'll come over here and just make us a mark. Now, we know that the distance from here to here is exactly the same on this side as it is this side. So we're just going to measure that, and then we're going to measure this side, and we're going to make a mark. But it's nice to have that laying down flat if you can help it. So now we're going to measure that, and it's not going to be an exact science. That is 32 inches. So we're going to come over here and we're going to measure 32 inches, which comes to that little brown freaking spot right there. And then we make that mark. Now I have allowed for more for mistake purposes. And remember, you allow yourself some room for mistakes. It's better to trim a little bit off after you've got done because you found you made a mistake, because you can't add it back. You can take it off, but you can't add it back. So now, we're going to stick this underneath there. And what we'll probably do is take this bracket here off and put it on top, and that will help hold this down. Then again, it'd be nice to be able to take this out and wash it if I needed to. Alright, so now we lift our motor up. Stick that down there like that. Alright, so see, now I'm a little too big because now it's pushing this up. So we don't want that to happen, so we need to trim, and I'm going to probably trim about 1/4 inch off of it. I'd rather it be really loose than to be tight. Alright, we're going to try this again. This is going to be fit and take it up, fit, take it up. Alright, so now when I put the weight of my tool thing there, see, this is going to be sitting right there. So that's going to hold it down because this thing's not light. And I may make a bracket or something, a stand for this with little shelves, and put that up there like that. But now I got to cut it down. This I'm going to do with a razor blade and a straight edge, because them scissors, man, they are hard on your hands on that stuff to begin with. So I was okay on them short runs, but them long runs are a little treacherous. set that there. Now we go the whole distance. And then we'll set our oil can right there. Alright, so now we've got this piece that we can do something with. Like perhaps something like that. Or perhaps something like that. And that would just be for setting tools on. Or if you had enough of this, you could make a piece that come out to right here, you know, all the way over to this foot and around, and just make a fitted piece that fit in there the whole distance on both sides of the lathe. That would be cool. But then you're not really using your chip tray when you're doing fancy stuff like that. So but that's what I'm doing. I'm also going to make a stop for this on the Grizzly. This is the part I did like. It does have a bolt that goes down through here that keeps this from sliding off. Well, that's really not going to work here because it's not designed like the Grizzly. Because this is too high and you'd have to have a big long bolt. And then it would hit the back of that and make it look terrible. So what I'm planning on doing is I may drill tap the ways right here on this corner and put a stop there. To keep that from going any further than that right there. I really don't want to drill in the ways, but there really ain't a whole lot of choices as to where to put something. Unless you made some kind of a bracket that came up off of this and went up behind it and went over to the other side, and when you bolted it down it tightened it up. I ain't gonna go through all that. It'd be easier to just put a block or a piece of steel. I'll show you what I mean. Bring it down here so you can see what I'm talking about. Something like that right there that will mount right there, or right here somewhere, that maybe goes from there to there and hole drilled in. Of course I'll take it out of this back here so I can miss that hole, and make a fancy piece that goes on there like that. Maybe even cut that in half. It don't need to be that much. Just something to keep this from coming off of there, and have a lip or something on this. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of me accidentally being able to knock it off of there. So, you know, mine's a lot thicker right here, so the chuck's a lot deeper. The bearings sound like the back one, I think, needs a new bearing. I took the spindle and everything apart like 2 or 3 days ago, and I think this bearing here is bad. It's got a lot of roughness to it, so this one up here in the front sounded pretty good. And you can tell how it's going to sound by that right there. It's going to have a roar to it. So she's getting ready to see if she can. She's auditioning. That's what she's doing, man. The Logan is auditioning for the Bison Workshop, because Bison Workshop don't take no slackers. Don't you guys wish that that's how they hired today? No, you got to go online. They don't want to see who you are. They don't want to see how you are. They just want to hire you. Yeah, I bet if I was hiring somebody, I'd be wanting to look for an email from somebody asking for a job. I want them guys to come in front of my face, ask me for a job, so I can see if he's a nasty person or a good person, or I want to see his reactions to some of the things I say or do or ask. Anyway, enough about the chit chat. Tried out my new boring bar, which I haven't cleaned up yet, that came with the Logan. And I just so happened to have an adapter that I had made for something else that works in here. The problem is I can't get it in my frickin' tool holder because it's just too bulky. So in order to store this where it's supposed to be, I will be laying it over top of something else, and I really don't want that. Let me try this thing. Oh, did I get it? By God, I got it. Anyway, yeah, I made that one. That tool there, that goes in there. Then I made this boring bar holder so that I could put it in this direction or this direction, either one. I would venture to say that this one here would be the more supported way, simply because it's got length to it. This is just short, but it has a nice blade in it, and it cut pretty good, and it can be replaced. In fact, you just loosen it up somehow and you push that through. I guess you make the blade for it, I guess. But I hate making blades. But we also got the live center here that I do not like whatsoever. I do not like. And I can't use the one off of my other one because it's not the same taper. This is a 3, I think, and this is a 2 or 1, something like that, I don't know. But the reason I don't like this thing is this one here's got some smooth action to it. This is the one I bought, and I like this one. But this one's the one that came with it and fits it. But man, that thing, it's got some roughness in it, man. And I'm scared to take that thing apart. I've had this screw off to try to loosen it up, and it doesn't loosen it up whatsoever. It's got a fitting in the end of it that don't look like it's all the way down in there. So I'm not real sure about this chuck, or this live center. And here, I'm leaving that board on the floor. This is a South Bend MLC-100, N like a Nancy, R like in robot. It does have 2 holes on the back side of it that actually looks like they take a screwdriver, but I don't see no threads coming out of the hole. So I'm leaning towards maybe I'm seeing something else. So I'm not real sure how this thing comes apart. It must come apart somehow. So if anybody knows anything about that, let me know. But it's real stiff. And it's like it's got a spot everywhere it's set for however many years this thing is set, and it's not going away. Now I don't know if that will go away after a little bit of use and keep oil in it. Maybe it'll work itself again, I don't know, but I don't know if that's going to loosen it too. So got that cleaned up. Then I got this cleaned up and oiled, and this is a Jacobs, if I can remember. I don't remember if that's Jacobs or not. I don't think. Yeah, it's Jacobs. Jacobs Manufacturing Company, Hartford, Connecticut, USA. That's a plus. This is a, and it even tells you which way to open it. This is a Portomatic 375B. And it's got a little bit of roughness in it, but it's worked itself out, or it's working itself out. So over time of use, this thing will loosen up. But I need a arbor for it, so I can put it in the chuck, or in the tailstock. Alright, and then there is this chuck, and this is a 3/4, and I've never had a chuck that big. This is a 3/4 inch. It's got threads is 3/4 by 16. And this is a number 36B. Capacity is 3/16 is the smallest and 3/4 is the biggest. It's even got stamped in little numbers, L14. Jacobs chuck, and their address, which is almost gone. So this thing's been used a lot. And I don't have a chuck key for it. So I need an arbor and a chuck key for that, and probably never have one for it. So that's just a little bit of the stuff that I got. I'd like to have this. I'd like to use this and my other chuck for this, but that's not going to happen. That sucks. So I'm losing my new look, that thing's loose. I'm losing my good stuff if I have to sell the Grizzly. But I get to keep my quick change tool post, but I've got to make a slide to slide in here to bolt the quick change down to. So I'm going to have to mill out a piece of steel, so I'm going to have to find me some steel. I think I've got some 1/2 inch steel laying around here that I can cut some pieces out of that are 1/2 inch thick. So I should have enough steel to make a nice T-nut that goes the width of this all the way across, and then have 2 set screws. And I like that about the Grizzly. It's got 2 set screws that goes down in it. It keeps it centered so that when you loosen it, it doesn't slide out on you every time you turn around. So I'm going to put 2 set screws in it so that that works, so I can put the tool post on it. Because if this thing's going to audition for the Bison workshop, then it has to have the quick change tool post on it to work. Now I'm going to try it with this to start with, just to see how it cuts with this. I've got this centered to the live center, dead center. So I still have the lead screw yet to do. I'll show you what all I've got over here. These are all the pieces. Now I've already done the dog, painted it, cleaned it up. I've already done the chuck. So now these are the pieces left to do. The pulley, all the change gears, follow rest, steady rest. Cap I've already cleaned up the best it's going to get cleaned. And I do like the fact I don't have to make that. Not that I ever have my chuck or spindle exposed anyway. This is basically for when you want to use it for collet, and I don't have collets for my lathe. All mine are R8, so they don't fit this lathe. I got the lead screw yet to clean up, and all the tool posts, boring bar holder. Let's see, you got the knurling tool, you got the right angle, you got another right, or this is the cutoff tool, and then you got a right angle. Oh no, it's a threading tool. Threading tool, right angle, cutoff, which that thing looks pretty rough, and then left angle. There are duplicates of these, but this is all that's going with it if it's sold. Got the dog plate, which looks like it's going to need some real serious cleanup on the lathe. Yep, we can chuck that up right on the lathe, spin that, and that'll look just as pretty as can be. Then we've got the milling attachment, which looks to be a little newer. It's not a 1958, I can promise you that. Yeah, this is newer stuff. I mean, you can look at the lathe and tell that it doesn't match. We'll see how it matches when I get done with it. But there's a lot of cleaning to do on this. A lot of TLC to do on this. This is a palm string. I know I'm reading that right. 250. So it's not a Logan. Wait a minute, that looks like it says palm grin, not string. Alright, you guys can make fun later. I'm sick, I have an excuse. Anyway, that's where we're at, guys. I'm pretty wore out, man. But we're going to give them, we already know what the Grizzly will do, but we're going to go ahead and give this Logan a chance to audition. And I'm going to use it like I would the Grizzly and see how she goes. Should have the belts tomorrow. God, I hope I feel like working on this, but I keep getting dizzy all the time. I get a pain in my chest. It feels like you're freaking having a heart attack, and your mouth fills up with saliva so fast you ain't even got time to shut your mouth. And I mean, it comes from every pore that's in your mouth, or every spit gland. Even up in here, man, it just pours out. So that's what I've been dealing with for the last 3 days. Dizzy on top of that. I just feel drained and weak. So that's why I slowed down. So bear with me, guys. Probably take me forever to get this uploaded because I'm just not feeling like doing anything. Anyway, if you guys want to help the channel out, you can do so with PayPal at bisonworkshop@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.